Hi, and welcome to Wrong Way. And today we are, courtesy of Karol, testing a half e-bike against a full e-bike. So let me tell you more about it. Wrong way. Alright, I've been meaning to do this for a long time already, but in the meantime Chuch started the trend of naming electric unicycles whatever. My favorite name is now electric motor wheel, but for the purposes of this video and to keep the meme alive, it's a half e-bike. And this is a full e-bike. So today we are going to compare the performance, the specs and the features of these two machines, which are indeed quite different. Alright, so let's start with the specs. Here we have the, well, now they're called Bear e-bike, a full-blown e-bike which has a top speed of around 50 kilometers an hour, pretty good acceleration, around 5,500 watts of peak power, twin suspension formed in the rear, pretty big beefy tires, and a battery size of 1900 watt hours. Whilst on this side, yeah, I know it's pretty small. It's almost like not visible when it's standing next to the e-bike. We have the good old Guads MSP, and it weighs half pretty much of the e-bike. Maybe that's why it's called half e-bike by Chuch. And it has a 2,500 watts nominal power motor, a top speed of around 60 kilometers an hour, which you need to be really careful when you achieve these sort of speeds. Peak power, I don't know really, it's kind of hard to tell with wheels. A battery size of 1,800 watt hours, which is 100 watt hours less than the e-bike. A 19-inch, 19 by 3 inch tire. This one was around, I think, 5,000 euro new, 4,000 to 5,000 euro. Whilst this, now you can get it for 1,500 euro, or a newer model DRS for around 1,800 euro. So specs pretty similar in terms of like performance, but price very different. All right, so in today's video we are going to compare the performance on pretty much good surfaces, on asphalt and concrete. But if this video gets 1,000 likes, we will make a rematch sometime in the future in off-road scenarios. I think it's pretty fun to make this video, so just like it. And a lot of you aren't still subscribed, so subscribe as well. Anyways, let's start with the acceleration test. We made a couple of acceleration runs with both of these devices, and at first the Cyclone e-bike pulled ahead because it's just easier to push full throttle on an e-bike than fully commit and lean forwards on the electric unicycle. Definitely I need some more practice with the starting bit because that's where I've been losing most of my time. But then I decided to pull my shit together and fully send it with a full lean forwards, and that's how I could take the lead on the acceleration test from a rolling start. So here you have the timed results. Yeah, then stop. In this test we found out that the acceleration is pretty comparable of these two devices. Whilst the e-bike has a easier method of acceleration, just lean forward onto the handlebars and you push full throttle, the EUC needs a more advanced rider to push the most out of it. The fastest time recorded on this exact model of electric unicycle was 2.3 seconds from a standstill by Fandom as Gagarin. Now let's move on to the brake test. Likewise to the acceleration test, we did a couple of attempts of braking from 50 kilometers an hour to a standstill. And whilst most of the time the e-bike was better, I once had a better result too, even though when I was laying down. The e-bike does need a lot of commitment into braking to have a good braking distance, and sometimes it does slip a bit, but overall I have to give it to the e-bike still in this test. The EUC did a very, very good braking result as well. usually just 1 to 4 meters further than the e-bike. Alright, let's check out how these things are climbing. So what are we doing? This is my usual 30-degree incline slope where I test all of the electric vehicles. And I gotta say that my biggest surprise was with this incline, because whilst on the EUC I could easily climb up there, the e-bike was struggling with lifting its front wheel when trying to climb. So we really had to commit, feather the throttle and pretty much lay on the front handlebar to go up the hill. Whilst on the EUC you can go backwards, forwards, and also much steeper slopes are possible on the electric motor wheel. People also often ask me how it is with braking from a steep slope downwards, and both of the devices fare really well here. With the e-bike it's easier to do this aggressive stopping when going down a slope. You can also use just the rear brake to get more grip. And overall, with various speeds, I think you do have more control over the e-bike when braking from a steep slope. But you need to watch out to have grip with both of your tires, because if the front tire slips, then you will fall flat on your face. With the EUC, if the tire slips, then you know the EUC tumbles and you just fall on your ass, which is, I think, better than falling on your face. And here's the turning radius of both vehicles. Alright, with these things out of the way, maybe the biggest even difference is how you steer these two vehicles. The e-bike might be something very familiar with, you know, a throttle, brakes, a handlebar that you need to hold on to, and, you know, a seat, all of that you're used to. But the electric unicycle is more of a, like, you know, cybernetic extension of your body. You don't really think that you're riding, you have two hands free. And with that said, I think also that the EUC, just from my experience, is more like fun to ride at slow speeds, while probably the e-bike would be more fun in extreme off-road scenarios where you want just to rip it. And yeah, probably also the e-bike in everyday situations is also the more stable device, and especially when you hit a big pothole or a curb. But nevertheless, the EUC is also really safe, and the lack of a handlebar actually makes it, in my eyes, better than if you would have a handlebar. I don't want to go over the whole philosophy of things between e-bike and EUC, but you can also check out other videos where I talk what are the benefits and drawbacks of EUC and e-bike. Another thing that is really important is the size. Whilst the EUC, you can just put it pretty much anywhere and it doesn't take up any space at all. It's very easy to just leave it in an apartment and charge. The e-bike is quite cumbersome. It's not really easy to put it into a car. You definitely need a big rack for it. Takes up more space at home, and this one also doesn't have a detachable battery, so actually you need to take the whole thing inside to charge it up. All right, now we can talk about features. So let's start with the EUC. The EUC comes with a set of pretty good front lights and tail lights as well. Also some RGB here on the side, not that visible in this model. Maybe I can change the preset real quick. Now it's sort of visible, but still not that much. The newer ones look better. It would have a trolley handle, but sadly mine doesn't, because I smashed it to pieces. Anyways, it does also come with a set of speakers here on the side, Bluetooth speakers, pretty nice, a USB charge port for your phone, a lift switch, so you can easily just carry it around, and pretty good app support as well. So you can track all of your data, the temperature of the wheel, the speed you were going at in real time, and then afterwards you can also check out how was the data of your ride. This is all out of the box. You can just check it on your phone later on. There's also a possibility of a mudguard. Sadly, in this one, I just don't have it. Now let's talk about the e-bike. It's pretty packed with features. 200mm rotors, which stop pretty similarly to the electric unicycle, surprisingly enough. Set of Magura MT5 brakes, a front light, which is also pretty powerful. And is there a tail light? I think there should be, yeah, tail light with brake light. Then we can also turn it on, very visible. And here you can also see the front line. Let's turn it on with Cree diodes, pretty powerful, different settings. There's also a display here in the front which shows you pretty much all the data, you know, well, some of the data: speed, voltage of the system, battery, and the odometer. There's also, what else? There's also a USB charge port here on the side. 3 modes you can select here on these buttons, and a bell, which you can hear pretty much. I also have a bell. Wait. Noise. The charge port is here on the side. I think it's a better solution than the EUC, a XLR port. On the EUC, the charge port. The charge port is a 5-pin connector here, not really well secured from a spark, so here the e-bike is winning. Definitely also on the suspension front, the e-bike is winning because it has suspension in comparison to the EUC, as you can see. Yeah, this thing is smashing off-road. So anyways, I hope that you liked this sort of quick comparison, half e-bike versus e-bike. I think that the results are pretty stunning, that the EUC can actually keep up with a device, you know, which has disc brakes, a powerful motor with heat sinks in the back, and it actually outperforms the e-bike in terms of hill climbing. So that is also why I do love my electric motor wheels. So with that said, hit the like if you're still here, subscribe to see more content like this. I'll see you in the next video. See you soon.